Silence. It's a simple word, just 7 letters, but it's rich with meaning. For Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor-philosopher, silence was far more than absence of noise. It was a tool, a strategic pause, a space for thought, and a shield against chaos. In today's world, noise is constant: notifications, opinions, and distractions. But Stoicism teaches us silence has power. In this video, we'll explore 9 moments where staying quiet can transform your life, rooted in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Let's begin our journey with understanding silence not as absence, but as presence. What exactly is silence? Is it just not speaking? Or is it something deeper, a mindful choice, a form of presence? In Stoic philosophy, silence is intentional. It's awareness, attention, and self-control. Silence isn't retreat, it's strategy. When we intentionally choose silence, we give our mind space to think. We create a pause, so we can respond rather than react. Why practice silence? Here are 3 powerful benefits. Clarity of thought. Without noise, our mind can sort through ideas more clearly. Emotional grounding. Silence allows us to feel our emotions before reacting. Improved listening. When we don't speak, we hear more deeply, others, situations, ourselves. Each advantage sets the stage for Stoic strength, a calm mind, and wiser actions. Silence is woven through Stoic teachings. Marcus Aurelius often advises restraint in speech. He compares words to coins. You wouldn't waste loose change, so don't waste your words. Another Stoic, Dionysius of Halicarnassus, once said, "It is a characteristic of the wise to refrain from speaking when he is doubtful whether he would profit by his speech." This isn't about shutting down communication, it's about refining it. Quality over quantity. Substance over noise. Let's try a practice rooted in Stoic tradition, beginning your day in silence. Turn off notifications. Sit in stillness for 5 minutes. Reflect, what will matter today? Just observe thoughts, don't engage. This silent practice sets the tone. Before speech, before decision, intention. We've built a foundation. Silence is meaning, brings benefits, is Stoic wisdom, and you can start today. In the next part, we'll explore the first situation where silence becomes a superpower, when confrontation strikes and your quiet restraint speaks louder than any retort. Picture yourself in a moment of confrontation. Someone is shouting, their emotions flaring, expecting you to retaliate. Every instinct may urge you to respond, defend yourself, or strike back. But silence, conscious, deliberate silence, is your shield. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." What does this mean? In the heat of conflict, silence isn't weakness. It's introspection. It's the awareness that the situation doesn't control your response, you do. When you meet confrontation with silence, several things happen. First, you deny the aggressor the emotional escalation they seek. Second, you maintain your composure, which is a power in itself. Third, you grant yourself time to understand, to reflect, to choose your words, if any, with clarity. This isn't passive silence. This is the Stoic silence. A silence that listens with intent. A silence that recognizes that not every attack needs a defense. Not every insult requires a counterpunch. Sometimes, the most devastating reply is no reply at all. In everyday life, this might look like pausing in a heated argument with a partner or walking away from a public insult. It might be choosing not to respond to a toxic comment online. In these moments, silence isn't defeat. It's dominance over one's impulses. Marcus Aurelius also advised to be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. When someone confronts you harshly, consider what kind of battle they are fighting internally. Your silence can be a gesture of grace, a refusal to throw more fuel on their inner fire. We often think silence means nothing is happening. But in Stoicism, silence is active. It's where emotional regulation, compassion, and wisdom unfold. When everyone else is reacting, the one who pauses becomes the most powerful presence in the room. Here's a simple practice. The next time someone provokes you, take 3 slow breaths. Say nothing. Observe your thoughts like clouds passing. Ask, is a response necessary? What outcome do I really want here? That pause, that silent pause, is your Stoic edge. The world praises quick wit and rapid response, but the Stoics knew better. Measured silence is often the most eloquent response of all. In the next part, we'll explore a second situation where silence becomes vital, when emotions are running high, and why speaking in anger can undo what silence can preserve. Emotions can rise like a storm, suddenly, without warning. Anger, frustration, fear, even excitement. In these moments, many of us are tempted to speak instantly, to express, to release. But Marcus Aurelius would advise otherwise. He wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it." When emotions surge, the words we choose often escape us. They become fueled by impulse rather than intention. And in this state, speech becomes a weapon, not of clarity, but of confusion. Imagine a moment when you were furious. You said something harsh. Later, you regretted it. That moment could have been softened, even avoided, by silence. A pause. A breath. Silence doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means containing them long enough to understand them. In Stoicism, this is emotional discipline. Let the waves crash inside, but don't let them tip the ship. There's a deeper reason why silence during emotional peaks is wise. It protects your character. It keeps your words aligned with your values. In silence, you retain authorship over your story. Speak in haste, and you may surrender that authorship to the moment. When silence follows emotion, it gives way to reflection. Why am I feeling this? Is this my ego, my fear, or something unresolved within me? The Stoics believed that emotions are signals, not commands. And silence helps us interpret the signal, not obey it blindly. This practice can be as simple as stepping away, saying nothing, letting the emotion breathe without spilling into the room. In that quiet space, self-mastery begins. Aurelius didn't deny emotion. He observed it. He examined it like a philosopher with a scroll. That's the role of silence, not to deny, but to discern. In our relationships, in work conflicts, even in social media debates, the discipline to be quiet when we are emotionally charged is not cowardice, it's the highest form of courage. Here's something you can do. Next time you're overwhelmed, speak not to others, but to yourself. Journal. Walk in silence. Watch your feelings as if from a distance. Give yourself space to cool. Then, if words must come, let them come from calm, not chaos. Silence is the bridge between stimulus and wise response. Let it carry you forward. In the next part, we'll explore when silence is golden in the company of ignorance, when others speak from false knowledge or arrogance, and the wisest move is to stay silent and still. Sometimes, silence is not just wise, it's protective, especially in the presence of ignorance. When you hear someone speak with misplaced confidence or deliver opinions steeped in arrogance or misinformation, the Stoic approach is not to correct them, but to pause. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." In moments of arrogance or ignorance, your silence is a rejection of their terms of engagement. You don't accept their false premises. You rise above them. Trying to argue with the ignorant often pulls you down. Their goal isn't clarity, it's attention. They speak not to learn, but to dominate. And your silence can be a mirror, reflecting their own noise. Think of online debates or a group discussion where someone speaks over others without knowledge. Jumping in often doesn't help. Silence, on the other hand, is potent. It signals that not every claim deserves a counter. Not every loud voice earns your energy. In Stoic thinking, we don't chase victories in argument. We chase harmony, reason, and peace. The louder someone becomes in their arrogance, the more silent you become in your integrity. This doesn't mean never speaking out. It means discerning when your voice will serve reason, and when it will only stoke ego. Silence here serves two roles. It protects your mental space from senseless conflict, and it preserves your dignity. Aurelius often reminds himself to let fools be fools, and to mind his own reason. Try this next time someone is speaking in ignorance. Instead of replying, ask yourself, what would Marcus Aurelius do? Would he spend his time correcting the ignorant? Or would he turn his mind inward, focusing on his own path? You are not obligated to join every conversation, nor to correct every error. Sometimes, the highest wisdom is letting people remain where they are, while you walk quietly past. The Stoics teach that we don't control others. We only control our response. And often, that response is to say nothing at all. In the next part, we'll reflect on how silence can offer support when someone else is grieving, struggling, or in pain, and words fall short of what presence alone can provide. When someone is grieving, struggling, or sitting in pain, our natural instinct is to speak, to comfort, to offer words that soothe. But often, words are not what's needed. Often, silence is the greatest act of love. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not be ashamed of help. Accept it from others and give it freely to those who need it." Sometimes, that help is not advice, not a clever saying, just quiet presence. Imagine sitting with a friend who has lost someone dear. What could you say that would make it right? Nothing. And that's the point. Your silence says, "I am with you. You are not alone. I will not fill this space with empty words. I will fill it with presence." This is the Stoic compassion. It is strong and quiet. Not emotionally detached, but emotionally steady. Not distant, but grounded. We often mistake talking for connection. But connection is about attention. Eye contact. Being there. Listening. And sometimes, holding someone's hand without saying a word is the loudest declaration of support. Silence offers the grieving something precious, the right to feel without interruption. It removes the pressure to respond, to explain, or to comfort you back. It creates sacred space. In grief, people don't want advice. They want to be witnessed. Your silence witnesses them. You might think, "But I should say something." You don't. Let your actions speak. Make them tea. Sit near. Simply say, "I'm here if you need anything." Then, be quiet. That quiet is not absence. It's presence at its highest. Marcus Aurelius practiced empathy through action, not speeches. Be like him. If you're unsure what to say nothing. Let your stillness be your solidarity. In the next chapter, we'll explore a moment where silence helps protect your vision, when sharing your dreams or plans with others may actually weaken them. The Stoics teach us to guard what is sacred until it's strong enough to stand on its own. Have you ever shared an idea or dream with someone, only to feel deflated by their response? Maybe they didn't understand, or they doubted, or they mocked it, and suddenly, your excitement shrinks. Your confidence falters. This is where silence becomes protection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Sharing your thoughts, especially fragile ones like new dreams, too early, exposes them to the harsh weather of others' opinions. In Stoicism, your mind is your citadel. Your ideas are your seeds. And a seed needs time underground before it faces the wind. Silence is that shelter. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. And not every idea is ready for sunlight. Guard it. Build it. Work on it in silence. Let results speak later. There's power in private progress. Silent success. Quiet creation. You don't need applause to be on the right path. The Stoic doesn't boast, they build. This doesn't mean never share. It means share wisely. Choose those who nurture, not those who judge. Choose those who ask questions, not those who doubt by default. Your silence is not secrecy. It's stewardship. Practice this. When you have a new goal, resist the urge to post it or proclaim it. Instead, take action quietly for a week. Build momentum. Then decide if it's ready for exposure. This practice strengthens resolve, keeps your ego in check, and shields you from premature opinions. Speak less about it. Do more. And when you do speak, let your results do the talking. Next, we'll enter an even more personal realm, when we ourselves are uncertain. When we don't yet know what we think or feel. In these moments, silence is not just a response, It's a sanctuary where clarity is born. Uncertainty is uncomfortable. It leaves us grasping for answers, eager to label, explain, or resolve. But often, our truest insights come not from immediate expression, but from quiet reflection. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. In uncertainty, silence removes judgment. It allows your mind to wander without conclusion, to observe without decision. When we rush to speak, we often close off inquiry. We define too soon. But silence keeps doors open. Think of a time when you felt lost or confused. Maybe you said something just to have an answer, and later, it didn't sit right. That's because the truth wasn't ready yet. It was still forming, still growing in the quiet. In silence, our thoughts can gestate. Our emotions can settle. Our deeper voice can emerge. Try this. Next time you don't know what to say, don't say, "Let me sit with this." Or say nothing at all. Just breathe. Journal. Walk. Be still. In Stoicism, there's no rush to define, no urgency to prove. There is only truth, and it comes when the mind is calm. When you don't know, be still. That stillness invites wisdom. And finally, in our last reflection, we'll discuss how silence isn't just something we practice outwardly, but something we cultivate inwardly. The inner silence, the Stoic mind's true power. The world is loud, but the loudest place of all can be within your own head. The Stoic seeks not just external calm, but inner silence. A mind free from needless worry, obsessive thought, and endless self-judgment. Marcus Aurelius spent much of his time in written reflection, quieting his mind. He wasn't just recording ideas, he was creating space. Space from fear. Space from noise. Space to return to reason. You can practice this too. Through meditation, breath, focused writing, or simply observing your thoughts without clinging to them. When the inner voice quiets, the present moment sharpens. Peace returns. Strength deepens. Inner silence is the ground from which all Stoic virtues grow: wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. You can't act wisely if you can't hear your deeper voice. You can't be brave if your fears are screaming. You can't be fair if your judgments are cluttered. And you can't live well if your mind never rests. Make space inside. Create silence, not just from the world, but from within. Every day, take a few minutes to sit. No music. No screen. Just breath. Just being. Let thoughts come, then let them go. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Silence reveals that awareness. As we end, remember this: silence is not empty. It's full of wisdom. And the Stoic learns to listen. In the noise of life, may you always know when to speak, and when to be still. And so we come to the end of our journey, 9 moments where silence isn't weakness, but wisdom. Not retreat, but strength. In a world that values noise, attention, and instant response, the teachings of Marcus Aurelius remind us, true power often lives in quiet restraint. Silence is more than the absence of sound. It is presence. It is awareness. It is the space between stimulus and response where freedom lives. It is where clarity begins, where anger dissolves, and where the soul gathers itself. Let your silence speak for your self-control. Let it be a shield in chaos, a balm in grief, a strength in conflict, and a sanctuary in confusion. You don't need to prove yourself with noise. The Stoic path is not about reacting to everything, it's about mastering yourself in anything. So, the next time you feel the urge to speak, to defend, to explain, ask yourself, is this the moment for words? Or is this the moment for silence? As Marcus Aurelius might say, hold your peace, and in doing so, hold your power. Thank you for walking this quiet path with us.